link.
Yeah, there we go. Recording, and we are live. We'll let people start trickling in here. We've got some people in there, and let me make sure that this chat is on. But the chat, if you guys are here, you guys should now you guys should be able to chat. So drop it in the chat where you're from, everybody.
Yes. And I also love to hear where you are in your tiny house process. That's
Yeah,
always fun to hear.
that's always a good question. Awesome, you guys. Well, we are now a minute into the session. Just started just a few seconds late, but we can let people trickle in just a little more, and then we'll get rolling. So
That's good.
let's see.
56. Oh, that's magical. We're on 3/4 of an
Yeah,
acre.
56 room for days.
Really
Northern
awesome.
Virginia, San Diego, Belmont,
Yes.
lots of
I'm
hills. 56 acres.
golden.
Sounds really nice.
Hills, nice. Yeah, we have a little bit of a slope in our backyard. We'll level it once septic gets fixed, and then
Okay.
we'll plant the tiny in the back. Right now, we're in the front.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, get the septic all hooked up and everything. So it's always nice.
Yes, it's a bonus.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, I think it's about time to get going. So, as you guys hopefully know, I'm Zach with tinyhouse.com, and today we get the pleasure to have Tricia as our guest workshop host here today. And we're super excited to hear everything she has to say. She's spoken at a couple of our past events before, and it's always huge success, big turnout, and people love hearing what she has to say, and she obviously is an expert at it. So that's why we love having her on. And yeah, so today she's going to be really diving in, getting into the nitty gritty, and helping you guys out, and all that good stuff. So really excited to hear everything that she has going on. And then, as we always like to say about all of our speakers, definitely give her some love outside of this. And if you're interested in any sort of services that she provides and whatnot, definitely check it out, because that's obviously how the world goes around. And so it'll help you and it'll help her. So definitely something that we love doing. And yeah, there's great ways to connect with her. I'm sure she'll probably give you her contact info and whatnot. And then also through the Tiny House community and so on. So yep, that'll be great. And yeah, well, without further ado, I'll let Tricia take it away from here. But super excited, Trish. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Hello, everybody. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you are good and can see that. I'm going to pop the chat open so my partner Tony here can help respond to chat. He's going to pose some questions and we'll also give you some information. And one of the things that we're going to go through is the tiny house checklist. And don't worry if you can't write it all down, or if you just want to watch and listen, because there's going to be a link that we'll put in the chat that you can get a copy of it. So no worries there. All righty. Hold on one second. I'm missing. Yeah. Oh, hold on one sec. I can see what you guys can see. Oh, there we go. Hang on, let me grab that. And it's in, yeah, that's not even in by. Make sure that you guys can see the right spot. And then let me, yeah. And then pull those down to me. Okay. So this is a little bit about my background. I've been an organizer for 16 years. I am a tiny dweller as of July. I started the process building, or actually not building, but designed my own tiny house shell, had the shell built by a builder here in Durango, Colorado. And I always get the wrong name wrong. I think it's Rocky Mountain Tiny Homes or Rocky Mountain Tiny Houses. If you want to reach out to him, Greg, he's amazing. And we had been working on it, my kids and I, a labor of love, as I say, for 2 years and 2 months. And because I needed a deadline to be finished with it finally so we could move into it, I signed us up for the People's Tiny House Festival in Loveland, Colorado, this July 4th-ish weekend. I think we moved the tiny here on the 7th. So it's been amazing, but you will get to see all of the different things that got me to this process. I created the checklist and the ease method through my business, but just how we had gone about it. Because going from 2,800 square feet to 300 square feet here, it was a 93% downsizing process. So that sounds bonkers. Hold on, you can do this. This is what we'll cover today, just to be able to give you an idea, and then we can go off to the races. So my case study is the size of the house that I came from. This was in suburban Chicago area, and it was 2,800 square feet. It had 2 living rooms, like a living room and a family room. The windows that you see in the front here are the living room. Then we had a main space that was, as you go to the left, it was a converted garage that was attached that they made into another living room. So that became our family room. So of course you need furniture for all those rooms, and eat-in kitchen. We renovated, and then we also had a dining room and then a smaller area where we could eat. So lots of places for lots of things. My then husband and my 2 boys, we all lived there. And what was a 2,800 square foot ranch home with a detached garage in the back, and we moved into a 200 square foot tiny home case study, which sounds kind of bonkers. And that was, let me pop back. So that was the case study. It was our 31-foot class CRV. And when my parents passed in 11 and 13, my then husband had suggested, he's like, hey, let's get an RV. And I'm like, what? Why would we do that? We're not senior citizens. I had no idea that people of all ages loved RVing, because that was my only experience with seeing people do it. But we had gone from this process with stuff everywhere. And mind you, this was not how we lived. We were going through a renovation of the kitchen, and the family room, we turned that into another master suite. So there were actually 4 bedrooms and 3 full baths. We had started out with 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. But the process was just crazy. We had originally started to go RVing and figured out, wow, we can live with so much less, because you put food in, you put clothes for a week or two, whatever you forgot, you didn't miss, or you can always pick it up on the road. So that started us to think, we can live with so much less. Maybe we don't need all this space. And that was probably about the time where the tiny houses were starting to come about. And Zach Giffen and his partner were on the show. And so we had the opportunity to watch all of those amazing shows. And if you don't already know this, if you have a Roku device, there is a Tiny House Nation channel on Roku, and you can stream live all the time. And I honestly still do that sometimes, because I still get nuggets that I can help people with. So moving on. So that was the RV that we were in, and had figured out all the different nooks and crannies. RVs are easy. Everything's built in. Same with the tiny house. Whatever your process is, we'll go through, and you'll get help, and it'll help you decide all the different things that you want in there. So again, tiny house checklist. You want to pop the link into the chat. We can give you the details where you can sign up for your own copy of it. So again, if you don't want to take copious notes, or just want to sit and listen, all good. But the tiny house checklist was developed out of the downsizing process, my design process, and thinking about what I wanted. My background's interior design, so it was really fun to be able to sit and figure out all of the details in that process. So that's where I came from. All right. So the first one is, I love to suggest to people to try it on for size. You can rent an RV, you can borrow friends, you can rent tiny homes, because they are even on Airbnb now in Colorado. We've got a place here called Casa, and I think at last check, I might be wrong, they had over 20 tiny homes that you can go rent out, spend the night in. I've had a couple friends that have gone there, and they've said that they even have a tiny house. It's kind of like the community house, where you can sit and talk with other people who are there for the weekend, play games, different fun things like that. And it would really give you the opportunity to see how that small space, if it works for you, your family, your kids, whoever would be living there with you to see if it's, oh my God, this is so much space. I can do this. Or, oh my God, this one's too small. And then you decide to make yours just a little bit bigger. And there are spaces where um, applications like outdoorsy.com, you can rent them from people who own the RVs. It's not even a middleman. And then you can find whichever one you want. There's trailers, there's ones that you can drive in. That's the Class C. That's what we had. So it was nice when I took my kids on my first single mom road trip. They were able to bring me food. They could go to the bathroom. We didn't have to stop for anything but gas. So lots of advantages to all of the different kinds. And if you get a trailer or if you rent something like that, then, oops, sorry, then you can up to whatever you're driving around with, leave it wherever you're parking it, campground, RV resort, however, and then tool around and see other things. So the next one is depending on who you be bringing with you. Do you need any special space for those people, those pets, hobbies, or anything like that? What do you need to store there? And this was my son in his Volkswagen bus tent. And there's lots of different places that you can tuck things. I'm sure you've already seen that you can create cabinetry and drawers out of the stairs. You can tuck drawers into toe kicks and capture that space where a conventional kitchen might not have that opportunity. But if you want extra storage, definitely something to do. You can elevate your main floor so you step up maybe a little bit higher into a living room or into a bedroom, and then you can have drawers that you can pull out to store all kinds of different things that way. And ours, what we have here is the main room is 16 by 10. And we built on, oh, there's the tip. We built on widest trailer possible. I had talked to many people who had built their own tiny homes, lived in them, or were in the process. What would you do differently? And one friend who now has 4 children and 2 adults in it with her had said, I built on the widest trailer possible. She had done just an 8.5 foot wide trailer, which is the standard. But if you do build on the 10 foot wide, you will need an oversized load sign when you move it. And depending on the size of your truck, you might need help with that as well. So number 3, here's a thought that you could do is if you have many rooms in your house, if there's like 5 or 18, pick one and see if you can live for a weekend or a week, or if you're brave, a month, to try and see how much space you can be comfortable in. Can you fit a table? Can you have, your favorite comfy chair or a sofa that you can lay down on and watch movies? Or if you have any hobbies, is there space for that? Like, would you need a sewing machine or, whatever it might be for you? And that will help you decide on helping you to design the space. Okay. Oh, I remember one of them was one of the tiny house nations is that they had this one woman bunk in a single bed at the top of the stairs and hung up her wardrobe for the week, like kind of on the railing. So you can make it as small or as comfortably big-ish if you want. You could even, if in your living room you want to tape out the space and see if you can confine it to what would be 8 feet wide or 10 feet wide and see how you can move about in it. And then does that feel claustrophobic? Does it feel calmer because you only have so much space to fill with your favorite things, that can help you decide. Like I said, if you're brave, try for a month, give it a whirl. Okay, here's another good tip to get you in the mindset of thinking of smaller. If you've got one of those great French door refrigerators or even just a bigger one, you can try and use only half of it, fridge and freezer, and see how much food can you keep and store. What do you need to shop more often for? What can you shop maybe once a week or once a month for? Or if you've got someplace close by or wherever you might land, what will the situation be? We just moved into the canyon in Golden, in Coal Creek Canyon, and it's about a 10-mile drive to the nearest grocery store. So if I go out for clients or to see friends, I tend to batch my errands. So yesterday, I did 6 errands before I went to my client. I went to the chiropractor. I went to get the car washed. I stopped off at my mailbox. I got my tires filled with air because one of them was wonky. Then I stopped off at the Container Store. So matching errands is helpful if you've got far to go. But on the note of using only half the fridge and freezer, you can also, if you're really brave, see if anybody's got a smaller one that you can use, or if you can live out of a dorm fridge for that weekend. That's the super challenge. But any of us that have ever stayed in any hotel ever have had that experience already. So, okay, number 5 is adjusting to the smaller refrigerator can kind of give you the idea of meal planning. Does anybody do meal planning now? Yes, in the chat. And also, tell me what your favorite recipe is too for meal planning. So you can do like Taco Tuesdays, Pizza Fridays, Meatless Mondays, things like that. And it can help you decide if you've got things in your pantry that have been languishing in there. You can take a picture of what's in there before you go shopping and then just pick up a few different things here or there. Like if you have a box of pasta, do you want to get a pesto sauce or a red sauce? And that can help you use up what's in there, but it also can help you when you go shopping, not get some of the things that you already might have. Like you might have forgotten about that jar of mustard down at the bottom and you get more because you got, I don't know, my son loves veggie corn dogs. So there's that. But it'll help you save the space because when you live in a tiny, tiny space, you don't have the ability to have like Costco sized condiments and lots of storage. But oh yes, same. Yeah. 20 shops like, like 2 or 3 times. I just dropped my water bottle. Or produce, yeah, because we go through it. And it depends on what you eat. If you can have meat and tuck stuff into the freezer, we're a pescatarian, which means vegetables and seafood a few times a week or a month. So yeah, it just depends on what you do. But when you have the meal planning, it's nice because if you work all day, whether it's at home or if you've been out and about, you sometimes don't have the bandwidth to figure out what do you want to eat. And you don't necessarily want to always order pizza if you could get it delivered. So this helps that process too. Your budget and your wallet will thank you when you do meal. And you can Google it. Oh, and here's something that I just heard recently. You can ask Chat GPT or any AI you use. I've got this, this, and this. What can I make? Give me 3 recipe ideas. And it's really cool. Sometimes it's way more creative than I would have thought to be. So, okay. So another thing to think about when going through your tiny house checklist is what am I going to store? How much do I need to store? And I advise people to go through your clothing and pick out your favorites. Because if you are thinking about if you go on vacation, what would you take? And of course, it depends on where you go, the climate, but most likely it's your favorite things or it's just a few things. And that way, if you're going tiny, you might not have room for all of it. But if you have just your favorites, or if you even do, does anybody do what's called a capsule wardrobe, where you have like 40 pieces and you mix and match, and that might or might not include shoes and accessories. I don't have a capsule wardrobe, but I do have what I call just my favorites. I wear 3 colors. Basically, if you've seen me talk before ever, it's pretty much purple, black, silver, and teal thrown in as of late for just a pop of fun color. And then, yeah, same here. But if you have a favorite number, and granted, this won't work if it's 52, but my favorite number is 9. So I only have one category where I have more than 9 things. I have 12 dresses right now, but it helps keep me in line and on track, sort of. And then the fact that there's only those few colors, everything goes together. So it's not like I'm wearing the rainbow and everything is just easy to mix and match. And then my son said, he's funny. He's like, if you don't have room for just in case, he said, Mom, let your closet have some freedom. This was before we moved. But yeah, so you can do that. Yes, love to purple. Do you have any questions? You can ask questions in the chat too. Tony's here monitoring and he'll let me know if there's anything that you're like, she said this and now I want to ask this. So definitely go for it. And we will have, as you saw, time for Q&A at the end. Okay. So number 7. So what I'm zooming from today is a green desk that was in my family before I was even born. My siblings are 15 to 19 years older than me. And it's a little It's this wide, just a little bit wider than my screen, and it's only like 22 inches deep, and it folds down. And this is my tiny home office because since I'm an organizer, I'm always in everybody else's homes. So I don't need a lot of space to just do Zooms, or everything else is pretty much paperless. But if you've got things that you would like to bring with you, say maybe you've got your favorite chair, or you have, excuse me, if you have collections, does anybody have anything specific that they collect that they would wonder how to display it in their tiny house? Because if you have maybe guitars that you play, you can hang those up on the wall for art. I was super excited to get my art out of storage. So think about those as you want to appoint, decorate, and bring things in that make you happy and that are fun to look at. Grilled cheese. Oh, I love grilled cheese too. Sorry, just reading the chat. Okay, number 8. So there's so many different people in the world, so many different styles to decorate. My favorite, absolutely hands down, mid-century modern. I used to like the metal and cement and glass look when I worked in Chicago for design firms. Then I moved to the suburbs and it was kind of more woodsy. Now we're out in the middle of the wilderness, the woods. And just in the past few days, I saw our bunny. We have one. We saw a fox the other morning, and we saw like 8 to 12 deer last night. So we are in the wilderness. So it feels very cabiny, but you do you decorate however you like. What are your favorite design styles? If you're thinking about going tiny, what would that look like for you? Start in the chat. But some clients like the minimalist look. Otherwise, you can absolutely be a tiny home dweller and be as what I lovingly call my maximalist siblings. My one sister collects plants. My other sister loves decor. My brother collects cats. Don't tell him I said that. But we surround ourselves with the things that we love, and we love what we love. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it makes us happy and we enjoy it in our space. How about it? But in a smaller space, it is finite, and you will have to learn to live with maybe less of it, but you definitely can include it. So don't feel bad about that. Okay, how will heating and cooling be assessed? So what we have here is radiant floor heat, which means I don't need to wear slippers ever if I don't want to. And if you're in a not so cold climate, you can have that as your sole form of heat. Here, so on the left-hand side, wood burning stove. Tiny wood burning stove really does a good job of heating tiny houses. We have lofts, and when we went to the festival, I welcomed people and said, hello, welcome to our 300 square foot, 3-bedroom tiny home. And they were like, what? Yeah, we can sleep 7 people. So the lofts, the heat rises. And if not, one of my sons has an electric blanket, and the other one, he's kind of like a heater himself. So he just has a light comforter. But in the middle, you see up above the door is a mini split, just like in a hotel, that functions as your heat and your AC, and easier to have it be up higher. Cold falls, we don't so much need it for AC here. It wasn't really hot in the canyon this summer, but for heat, it kind of just migrates everywhere anyway. So it is okay to have it mounted up higher. And then the right side picture, it is actually a small little electric heater unit that, again, you turn on and off as you need. You can even set some of them with apps. So if you want it to be warm or cool when you get home, that's magical as well. And then with any of these processes, you can also have solar, either providing electricity to run those items like the mini split, or sometimes it's propane heat with those electric ones, or the combination thereof. You can do different research and see, and sometimes it's the fun aesthetic as well. Okay. Number 10, what are your bathroom must-haves? Do you love a tub? My must-have was a jet tub. It's here. I got it for $50 at the Habitat for Humanity resource. So make sure that you research those in your area, because I think I got more cabinetry from the restore and only had to buy one real one from Home Depot. But that was more than the 1, 2, 3 bathroom cabinets, 4 cabinets combined. So that's what it is. We figure out the ways to do it. But anyhow, so toilet, do you want an actual flushable toilet? Do you want a separate, which is waterless, separates the liquids from the solids? Do you want a composting one? Do you want that one that incinerates the waste and makes it even easier to get rid of? If you don't like baths, you can get away with shower. So your bathroom could be a smaller footprint in your house, have more room for washer dryer area, bigger living space, kitchen, or whatever. And then it makes a difference too, how many people are going to be using the space that might help you decide on the size of it. If there's a couple of you that need to be getting ready to go somewhere during the day, then go off and do that. Sorry, I'm scrolling down so we can see all the chat. And then you can do different types of sinks. You can hang things on the wall. You can tuck things in a cabinet. No worries either way. Okay, number 11. What modern conveniences do you want in your kitchen? Are you a baker? Do you love your Instant Pot? Can you get away with just an electric burner that is induction, that you can use your cast iron with, or what? Okay. Experience with a wet room for bathrooms. Ooh, not personally, but I do find that they're really efficient. They tend to be a small footprint so that you can have sometimes the sink in the shower or the sink above the toilet. I've seen ones like that too, but not me personally. Definitely super efficient because it can be a compact space. So that can help if you want more space allocated to living or kitchen, or if you just want a smaller footprint of a tinier trailer. So yeah. Yeah, oh, we specifically have the you're welcome, the separate toilet where again, the solids go into a composting bag and then you can toss it as you need to. The liquids go out and drain with the gray water, which will go into a septic or whatever you can potentially hook up into. Okay, so kitchen appliances, you can go all out. If you're someone that likes to cook or bake, you can definitely make sure that you have cabinetry to store everything that you like. Or if you want to go more minimalist, which is the picture on the right-hand side, then you can go, hey, bare minimum, allocate your space to whatever else you like. And then the big thing lately is the open shelves as opposed to cabinets. You could potentially store more things on them, but also be aware of dust. Because then if you don't use the things often and rotate, say, if you only have 4 plates, you wash them daily or every other day. But if you have a stack of like 14 because you like to host people maybe outside on your deck, then that might be a factor in certain points. And again, finishes can be way more lavish because you have a smaller amount of them. If you want to get fancy, I can't even think of the name of it. Dating myself when I say Korean, but there is stone countertops that are made. So what I'm talking about, which version? Oh, anyhow, you probably, but anyway, it's stone countertop. You can get different colors. You can get different things like sprinkled inside, like not like glitter, but you can make it shiny and different things like that. What I did was I got a wood countertop and stained it with this magical stain. It's very fun. It's non-toxic. It was developed by a woman who worked with adult daycare, and some of them couldn't use a brush. They had to use their hands. So it's called unicorn spit. Google it. I mixed the purple and the blue together to come up with a really cool color for our countertops. So, okay. Washing machine or dryer. There are combo units. You can have a stacked unit or you can just have a washing machine. That's what I opted for because I was used to, when we lived in our RV case study, just to have the drying racks and the ability to hang stuff. I did a crisscross of an X clothing line over the king bed in the bedroom because who cares? So that's where we did those things. But you can always tuck things like that into a closet, and that way it takes up less space because it's in the same footprint as a stacker. Oh yes. Oh, that was my kids must have mentioned. I see the dishwasher comment in the chat. So my kids wanted a dishwasher, and I'm like, I am not taking up 18 to 24 inches of cabinet space for a dishwasher. So they got a drawer dishwasher. So it's below the microwave convection oven, or it will be once we edit the cabinet because it's slightly too big. We have to build something else for it. So there's that. Yeah, kids, seriously, kids are the dishwasher. That's what I said. I'm like, there's only 3 of us here, and now there's 4, but I'm just like, still, come on, people. Yeah. Okay, so washer and dryer, again, different ideas. You can have it in the bathroom. Ours is actually just outside of the bathroom, next to like the front closet, which has shoes on the wall, like all those pockets to hang shoes in. We've got a little rod for the coats because those are thicker than our like 30-second or not 30-second, 30-foot. Sorry, my alarm went off. Kitchen is closed. Sorry. Yeah, so again, you can save space and have it be in a footprint where it makes the most sense for you. And depending on how often you need to do laundry, that can kind of sometimes help guide the size that you want. I have heard, and it's been a question before, the combo units sometimes take a really, long time, sorry about that, to clean, sometimes like 3 to 4. Can you help pull that back down? I'm not the tech person, just so you guys don't have to see all that too. Okay, yeah. Okay, so those are the 12 things to ponder that you can think about. Other questions might have bubbled up um, that you may think of. If there are any, ask them in the chat. Otherwise, now we'll jump into what is my all about ease method, because that's the name of my business, because I feel like that's really what it's all about. We want to have ease in our life. We want to live simpler. And oh, here, I forgot to ask this earlier. What is your reason for going tiny? Is it because you wanted to live lighter on the planet? You wanted to have less house to clean? Yes. You wanted to consume less energy. I just wanted to not have a mortgage anymore. And I had gone through that twice in Chicago, and I'm like, I'm done. So there are ways that you can finance your tiny house, but I saved up the money and used some of the money from selling the house in Chicago. And through the divorce, had some money to put towards building it. And I was so, what I felt, resourceful and going through Buy Nothing groups, the Habitat for Humanity Restore, asking neighbors if they had, hey, does anybody have any 2x4s left over for projects? And I don't think I spent more than $10,000 in addition to about the 52K that I spent on the tiny house shell. So pretty amazing. It can be done. And it was a lot of sweat equity, friends who volunteered, and even some clients that said, oh my God, you're building a tiny house. I want to say that I've worked on one. So they came and helped too. So, okay, so the all about ease method. The first E stands for edit, and that just enables you to create space. So pull everything out. This is what was in our living room from the editing and the process of the renovation. So I took the advantage of having that space available and just went through everything. It allows you to put eyes and hands on everything in a space. Say maybe it's the master closet that you're digging through. If you forgot things were back there, you didn't realize that you still had those things. And then here's the easy part about the edit. What are the easy decisions are things that don't belong in that space. So maybe it's somebody else's. It can go to your kids' room or to the office or to the garage. Or there are things that you're like, yeah, I don't really use this anymore. So then you can decide if something wants to go for trash, if it's not viable to donate, or if it's broken. Can it go back to the person that you potentially borrowed it from, or can you donate it or sell it? And on that note, I say that if you want to, if you've got maybe nicer clothing or different things that you know would sell well in your area, that can help fund your tiny house project. I mean, that sounds amazing. We had, like I said, furniture in 2 different rooms. So we slowly started to edit the extra sofas, extra tables, extra chairs, and then lived in one of them, not both. So, but when you do the editing, I advise you to use black bags for donate so you don't change your mind and pull things out. Or if you've got other members of the family that are like, no, I really didn't want to get rid of that thing, children, then you can't see it or remember what's in there. And then I say use white bags for trash just so you don't get them mixed up. That way, trash goes to trash, donate goes to donate. And then you can even set the donate things aside while you find a good place for things to go be useful in its next life, like towels and washcloths, different things like that. If you're editing them out, you can go to your vet or an animal shelter because they're going through those things so quickly every single day. But editing out the obvious allows you to do separating the nose and then just have the bandwidth for what's left. And then if you're thinking, oh no, looking at this picture, what areas in your home do you think would be the most challenging for you to edit? And then if there's anything that I can speak to, I can share tips for that. Yes, 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 you're welcome for the black bags. All right. Oh, and then here is what to do with your donates or your things that you're ready to be rid of. So you might have heard of many or all of these. I took full advantage of my Buy Nothing group and even borrowed sawhorses for like a year from a neighbor. And when I brought them back, they're probably like, oh, we still have these, but generous friends and neighbors are amazing. I borrowed a saw from someone for also over a year, and then she actually moved to a new house and needed it for her home project. So then I bought one from the Restore. So, or no, the Arc thrift store. And if you have places in your area, check to see if they have half price days. I know that ours does 4 different colored tags every single Saturday, half off. When I was in Chicago, it was half price the entire store every single Monday. So you can sell things on these sites, you can buy things for your house on these sites. And I've even gotten a ton of tools and different things that I didn't want to purchase borrowed. And also check, because there are some libraries that may be in your area that you can use to borrow tools. And the Denver, I think it's like the Denver Tool Library, something as maybe obvious as that. But if you don't want to spend stuff that you don't want to store later when you're done with it, go that route. Okay, the A stands for assess. This is what you're going to do with the things that are left, the things that you decided that you wanted to keep. But has it been used for, have you not used it for 6 months to a year? This might be what is some of the stuff that's left after you edited out all the obvious stuff, the trash, the broken things, the stuff that you can donate to other people that you know can use it. If it's a lot of household items, maybe kitchens, depending on the time of year, see if there's anybody that you know that's going off to college, or did they just get married and they need more stuff for their apartment? Who knows? People are always able to take on things that they need that they don't want to purchase or maybe can't afford to purchase, which is why I love the Buy Nothing groups. You can even borrow stuff there. I borrowed a life vest the first summer here that I was in Colorado, so I could take 3 of us out paddle boarding and kayaking. So it's nice. Oh, but here for clothing. So if it's in a smaller space, again, you can adapt your number. Maybe you want to only limit yourself to 10 in your categories. But think of it this way. We wear 20% of our clothing 80% of the time. Think about it. If you only had 20%, how much easier would laundry day be? Would having the space to breathe and find the things in your closet, because it's like, oh, I want that one right there, just because there's so much less. And then this is the best question. It's kind of cheeky. Would you want your ex to see you in that? That might help you edit more things. And if you're laughing right now, you know the answer to that question. Let it go. Okay. S stands for store. So you're going to have to find a place for the things that you want to take with you to the tiny house, or the things that you know that you want to wear, decorate, appoint with, use, however that goes. So definitely store things where you use them. So again, this is kind of crazy, but you're not going to have toilet paper in a kitchen cabinet. Your cabinets and your storage spaces, it's basically all prime real estate now, because that's all there is. Space is finite, and we as humans tend to be like goldfish. If we keep them in a small bowl, they stay small. If you put them in a bigger tank, they get bigger. So think about that and be mindful. This in the middle here are hanging. I love these. We've got these in our closet now. It's the hanging fabric shelves where you can store stacks of t-shirts. You can store socks and underwear. You can put sweaters. And in the drawers, we've got rolled up things. I think that was leggings. And then on the other side, it's like your undergarments, socks, underwear, whatever it is that you're going to use that way. Ah, yes. 80% of my closets are black shirts. That used to be me too. My brother called it my funeral phase. I was like, what? That's when I was in college, but I still wear a lot of black too. What do I recommend for less used but occasionally needed items? KitchenAid mixers, yes. So I have, if you think about your kitchen cabinet, the sink one, you can put a panel, a piece of wood or whatever. And if you want to store stuff, sometimes we have pets, or we just want things to be tucked into the cabinet, like maybe the trash or the recycling. So we've got one of the big, what is it? The stand mixer tucked on one side of that. But I have maximized as far as useful appliances. I have the Instant Pot, which is also things that we can saute with and cook with. We have one small um, burner, what's it called? Induction burner. Thank you. So, and with the induction burner, you just have to know if a magnet sticks to it, you can use it on that burner. Was that right? Or is it the opposite? Yes. Magnet sticks. So I strictly have cast iron. I have one medium-sized cast iron because they'll show you on the burner exactly the size of the pan that you need to put it on there. Because if it's anything bigger, like your eggs won't cook, your other stuff won't saute. And then I have one flat one that's like for doing grilled cheeses and different things like that. But as far as what it is, if it's within reach of your kitchen cabinets, that's the real estate, that is the stuff that you're going to use every day. If you have a little bit extra storage, maybe that stuff goes up higher. And definitely having appliances that do double duty. We have, as my kids would say, lots of mason jars, but I have everything in jars. We use them for glasses. We use them to shake out dressings and different things. So yes, the struggle is real. I have lots of mason jars and carabiners, but they're also useful for so many things. Is there anything that you guys have that you find useful that other people don't, or that you like, and then you're like, that's coming no matter what? Share with us in the chat. It's fun to hear. Okay, so the final E stands for enjoy. Oh my gosh, you did so much work editing, deciding, figuring out. That's emotionally, physically, mentally draining. Right sizing is an amazing process, but sometimes it can feel very daunting. So even if you get a drawer cleared out, or a cabinet, or one of the closets in your home, oh my gosh, celebrate that, because that way you can start to build that momentum that will help you through the entire process. Oh, spinning wheel for making yarn. Yes, I would say I would put that next to something. Maybe you have chairs in your living space instead of a sofa, no matter what works for you, just spitballing here. And then that can be a cool piece of art because it is, and it's useful, and how fun to use that too. I've got a client that had, we just recently organized all of her yarn, and it became like, there were like 9 bins, and she was laughing because she said, I was going to go, I think, to Breckenridge, Colorado. There was going to be some festival where she would have the opportunity to buy more yarn. And she said her husband was going to come in there and be like, you don't need any more yarn. But she could trade. I said you could always bring stuff to share, give away, and then bring home some new fun things. But yeah, so okay, enjoy. And then when you're done, you get to bask in all that hard work, and you can reap the benefits of a tiny, tiny space. That's our tiny house. That's where we are now. And here's the thing. If you did any organizing or editing for 5 minutes yesterday, and you did none last week, last month, last year, progress is progress. We have to be kind to ourselves and give ourselves grace and space to get through the process, to get to ultimately what we said we wanted. There were many days, and not until I read a blog did I realize that there's actual burnout that you can go through, whether it's the editing process or the building process or just whatever aspect of tiny. I think we feel that now in work and different things, but everybody, gosh, we deserve more space and grace and all those things. Always done the something in, something out, and that will help. Yes, I was even mocking my children because they had so many stuffed animals when they were little. I'm like, you get 1 in, you take 2 to 3 out. And then for a while, I was like, okay, you're 8, you get 8 stuffed animals. And then as they got older, they kind of liked less. But yes, I have encouraged clients to do that too. And then it's sometimes easier if it's kids or us, if we're changing sizes, it's easy to get rid of the ones that don't fit anymore. Because if you think about it, whether you want to go up or down, whatever you achieve, whatever you want to do, we deserve something new and something fun. No shame in that. Oh, yeah. My kids love their stuffy still. My son was like, I want to get rid of my pillow pet that was Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. And then we washed it so we could donate it clean. And I brought it back and he was looking at it in the pile. I'm like, do you still want it? It's okay. Because we love what we love. We don't have to beat ourselves up about what we have in our space or how much of it. if it makes you happy, then you'll figure out a way to make it fit. That's really all it boils down to. Okay, I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. I so appreciate you and being able to share with you. Hopefully, we've got some good tips and ideas. Here are some resources, places to find your RVs, places to donate or give your things away, and 2 books that I read when I was already in the tiny house that even helped me get rid of more stuff. The Japanese Minimalist was a brilliant book. I always have to preface it with, it was one gentleman, no partner, no kids, no other family. But if he couldn't find a use for something that day, he got rid of it. I was like, oh, wow, because there were things, and you might find this in tiny spaces where you have the first layer of stuff and then you've got stuff behind it. Because again, if you only have 1, 2, 4 kitchen cabinets, you got to maximize what you put in there. And that doesn't mean stuff it full. It means that you want to be able to put stuff away, but you also want it to be you want to have it be easy to find it when you need it. So on that note, things in your home need a home, so it's not out. And we tend to feel calmer when our spaces are not cluttered or they don't have a lot of things in them, because every piece of clutter in your home, and mind you, I cleaned up a bit today too, so the struggle is still real, is an unmade decision. And we don't want to overwhelm ourselves with things like that. So if it's easier for you to just get rid of something or donate or share it, then do that. And on that note, I only let my kids have one flavor of cereal at a time. I'm like, no, finish that box. But here are some resources. Tony, did you put other stuff in the chat? Because I can give you, there. This is how to connect with me. I love talking tiny, right sizing, downsizing, anything. So if you're interested in having a chat with me, I do a free 30-minute Find the Ease call, because again, my business is called All About Ease Organizing. And if you're struggling with organizing challenges, let's talk about it. I can give you tips that you can start to implement right away. Because if your home life is 1% better from anything you've heard today or anything that you might hear on a talk with me, then I've done my job, because it's up to us, I feel like, to help each other in this world, this wreck that we're running around spinning on. But my slogan for my business is simplify your life so you can relax and enjoy. So hopefully you've taken a nugget or two and that you can go forth with and make your life a little better. Oh my gosh, my son made my Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. It is All About Ease Organizing. And then I think our Instagram is the same. You can tell I'm not very active with it. I have people, my person, oh, thank you. Yeah, I have a VA and I have my son that do these things for me. How do I reduce a cookbook stash? Oh, that's easy. Pictures. Make yourself a file, whether it's in Dropbox or what's someone that you backed up my computer to yesterday? OneDrive, any of those. Or if you've got a Google Drive, take pictures. What I did, because I had a ton of cookbooks too, and I felt that if I could get a recipe online, then I kind of like let the whole book go. Because there's, again, we make maybe 20% of our recipes 80% of the time. Pretty much you can do that with everything. Actually, let me stop sharing now. And if you guys want to put anything in the chat, you can, and answer more questions. All right, get this guy right there. Stop the share. Okay, so yes. Any other good questions? We've got 10 more minutes. I love a challenge too. So, when I moved here, one of the first clients that I had my first year here, we had to get Facebook. All About Ease Organizing. Can you type that? Thank you. Family heirlooms. Good question. I love this book. It's called Rightsizing. I have to look at it. Can you pop that light on real quick? Because the book is over there. The Sentimental Person's Guide to Decluttering. That is an excellent book. It's only about this thick, but it helps you go through the family heirlooms. As an example, if you can find, say, one of her 7 or 9 categories was, Okay. Was like trophies. And I think the example was if you had been a swimmer when you were young, what to do with those things. But if you can find a good place, a good charity, or someplace that needs what you're letting go of, I've found that most of the time with my clients, it's easier because they're like, oh, somebody's moving into a new place. Let me grab more things out of my kitchen cabinets to give away to share with them. I feel like that's the biggest thing. As long as we can find some place where they will be used, where they'll be appreciated, or, ooh, I have a food pantry slash thrift store here in Golden, Colorado. And I've been taking so many of my clients' things there and I curate it. I pick out the best things because anything that they sell there goes to feed the neighborhood because it benefits them. They get to use the money for their food pantry on the other side of the building. So if you find someplace like that, you can always ask your family. And if any of you are ever decluttering and you're wondering, oh, I should give this to my nephew or my neighbor, or take a picture of it and text them if they're able to, if they do all those things. Because sometimes our senior family members don't, but ask them if they want it right away. Because most of the time the answer is no. Sorry to say that. But that way it'll free you up from having to hold on to it a little bit longer, to have homework, to get it to them or to put it aside for them. Yeah, and do that. Oh, looking to be building done in May. Yes. Oh, of course, yeah, we do. So I do a lot of senior moves with clients and I help them downsize from decades of family homes into senior centers, or I've got to move. And one of my clients for the end of November, December, depending on when the house gets finished, is going from her town to her town, like 4 blocks away, because she built a bigger house. But yeah, so we do all kinds of that. So whether you want to chat about downsizing in general, right sizing for a tiny, if you need help on, again, how to get rid of certain collections. I just recently found, because I had a client who had from their partner who passed away, they had collected dolls. So what we did was we found someone local who could list all that stuff for them. And granted, I think they're taking 50% of the cost because it's the research and the listing and all this stuff, but they were just going to donate them. So anything that they get for them is kind of gravy and it helps that person make some. And then, oh, yes. Yes, that is. Okay, so Claire Middleton is the author of The Sentimental Person's Guide to Decluttering. And it's on Kindle, paperback, and I also actually got it from my library app. So there's Hoopla, there's Libby. And if you like it, then you can decide if you want to buy it because except for maybe, what is there, 20 books there? I let the library store them for me. I buy no books. But I do have a few on organizing because when I work for clients, they're like, oh, I have this organizing book. I'm like, oh, that looks like a good one. And I'll take it because they're downsizing it. And then if I find any good nuggets, then I share it with my clients. So let's see. So this website, Tidy Houses, the community that you had to sign up for to be able to see this webinar, so many good resources. And you can search for tiny home builders in your area. If there's a place that you maybe want to retire to, you can search for those in that area. Then you don't have to pay to transport it or ask around. I was in the Tiny House Festival. The first one was Adams County Tiny House Festival, and there were so many builders there. Research for your area to see if there are festivals that are coming up. As far as I know, they're all different areas of the country. And the reason I picked mine is that my friend who said to build on the widest trailer possible, she moved down to Durango and started to work for him pre-pandemic. So that's how I found him. She said he's great. He's really reliable. And she had worked with him. So she said, I could work on your tiny house for you and send you progress pictures. So that was a big boon. Yes. Asking for the past 5 years for, did we answer that question? Yes. Oh, wow. In Fresno. Oh, that'd be fun. That's the day before my birthday. That would be awesome. Yeah. I've gone to, yeah. And they're in different places. I know a friend was building with a builder in Canada and we're in Colorado. So it really just, I mean, you'll find your person, interview them, definitely do that. Because I had interviewed 3 people and then decided on this one. And if you don't get the right vibe from them, or if they don't seem like they'd be attentive to your questions, even just in the interview, then keep looking, no shame in that game. You have to, because you're going to be talking to them a lot. That's my point. I think mine said I put a down payment in September. I was supposed to have it by December, but it was pandemic, and I got it the following April. Not like a year and a half, but 4 to 6 months later or 4 months later than we thought it would be. Feedback on incinerating toilets. Me personally, they take a lot of power, so I don't know how useful it would be if you want it to be off grid. But otherwise, it definitely takes a lot of, I mean, you have to deal with nothing, as far as I know. That's about all I know about that. Thank you. Okay, 5 more minutes. Any other questions? Do you want to stump me on how to recycle anything, where you can donate things to? Ask away. Tiny house builders, yes, yes, yes. I'm just scrolling up a little bit to see if I missed anything. Yeah, sometimes people have, as far as dumping in at your brother's, hookups that they have built into their property that when I was looking for when I was looking for a spot before I found property, I put it on all these different groups on Facebook. I checked Craigslist. I talked to everybody I knew. And I actually had gone through about 4 to 6 people who were considering having me park my tiny in their backyard. And for various different reasons, it didn't work out. But that was just because this property was waiting for us. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Fridge whirring noise. My fridge is right here, right next to us. And I'm noticing that now that we're sitting here, but otherwise I don't notice it as much. Are you thinking about that because you would want your bedroom to be on the same floor as your refrigerator? If you could pull that door closed, we've got pocket doors so they don't take up in the house. And then I'll go this way. Can you turn the other light on top? So you can see the inside. And then we've got ours. I'll show you here. I was designing, and this is one of the things that if I had the chance, or if we decide to build another one, to move the refrigerator to the other side of the 8-foot stretch of cabinetry, because we've got it over the wheel well right now, which I also had to cut out maybe like that much for the wheel right here to have the cabinet fit around it. So there's that. But otherwise, you go on the other side. And if you don't know already, you can always change the swing of your refrigerator, because I got this one at the Restore on sale on Thanksgiving or that weekend, and then we just flip the door around. So don't be disturbed by that. This one for us, since we were used to the tiny apartment fridge, we upgraded to this one that's an apartment size fridge. So it's only like 24 feet wide, 24 inches wide. And yeah, it's much bigger. But if you're going to a smaller one, again, you'd have to adjust what you buy, what you keep frozen, this, that. But yeah, no worries. Yeah. And so our bedroom is on the first floor because we wanted to be able to age in place and to be able to get to the bathroom without having to climb down. Can you move this one? And we can show them. So my one son has what I designed, this cool folding skateboard ladder. So it folds out of the way. And then we have more space to kind of get in and out of the bedroom. Otherwise, their loft bedrooms are 9 by 10 and 7 by 10 respectively. And I get a storage unit. Oh, come on, I do what I do. I don't need a storage unit. But we will need some sort of small shed for like the outdoor stuff, like the snow blower, the lawnmower. Although what we heard is that our property, they used it only in the summer and not often. So we've got deer coming through the neighbor, like our neighbor's yard, our yard. So yeah, we're not sure how much stuff we want to put out there per se, because I already talked to Tony. I'm like, please God, tell me that will never be that house that has all of this stuff outside. And I'm just like, we don't need it. We don't need it. So there's that. But yeah, just for the outdoor stuff. And then, I forgot to mention that underneath my bed, you can possibly do this too. I built up a platform. It's like the Princess and the Pea bed. It's like 24 to 30 inches off the ground. And that's our underbin storage. So underneath the bedroom window outside, there's a big door that stores like stand-up paddleboard, blow-ups, of course, kayak, Christmas one bin, and like camp chairs, camping bin, that sort of stuff. So that's another way that you can store things and still capitalize on a lot of the space. So, um, edit, assess, store, enjoy. Enjoy the fact that you did it, you know, you're a tidier space, less stuff, and if you start the downsizing process early, it'll make it easy and you won't need a storage unit in between, like say if you're selling your house to tuck all that stuff because storage units are wonderful, but in my opinion, they're a waste of money because what you store in them, depending on how long you store them, you could have bought everything over again. That's my 2 cents. But yeah. Under bed is great. Yes. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, 7 p.m. Thank you so much. I'm going to save the chat so I can. Okay, cool. Thank you all so much for being here. Reach out if you have any questions. Happy to chat with you. Happy to offer advice. Oh, my pleasure. Truly, my pleasure. Happy to help. Thank you. Thank you. Be well. Yes, it was recorded. Thanks, Zach. Is this going to be available to people if they've been on the event? Will they be able to like go back and watch it for any tips or ideas? Maybe. We'll go with maybe. Yes, they're so welcome. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Zach. Recordings will be available. Super. So yeah, so we can listen again. Thanks. Have a great night, everybody. Bye. You're so welcome.